Hello and welcome to another edition of See You Next Time. We're doing this to finish off what we didn't finish off yesterday on the transfer window, and also a quick run through of some of the games from last week because we haven't done that. Today with me, I've got obviously our film star on the right there, our George Clooney with his beard. He still hasn't shaved it off, even though he said he was going to because he looks so old with it on. And then
When
next to
Salah
him,
has a hat trick.
that'll be a while the way he's playing. Next to him is, of course, our Billy, who's making Rob look young, even with the beard. And then, apologies for the intro, by the way. Normally I write one. I forgot to do one today. And also we've got Seamus So Deeps, the legender, who's we don't know what he's doing. He's doing something in the background as well while doing this.
Flying a kite.
Yeah, was
Flying a
selling
kite.
them. He doesn't actually fly them. He just does it to sell them, doesn't he? Bless him. He's such one of those entrepreneurs, isn't he? Okay. Oh, so right. So where did we get to last time? Can anyone remember?
Yeah, we've done a few of the
Oh,
teams, the transfer dealings,
I just
but
thought.
we missed a few out.
Yeah, I just thought of something
Newcastle.
we never did on Chelsea. By the way, you noticed they signed that Buonanotte on loan from Brighton, the most bizarre signing ever. He couldn't even get in the Leicester team last season. They've left him out of their European squad. He joined them because he wanted to play European football, was what he said. And he's not even been included. I mean, this is just some insanity there. Right, anyway, yeah, I just wanted to mention that. Yeah, so Newcastle, we start with then. Billy, you want to start?
They got off to a very dodgy start, didn't they? All the problems with Isaac and trying to get people in. They brought in Wissa after all the trouble he caused as well, and they've got the German lad up front. Can't even think of his name.
Walter Messi
or something. Yeah,
Walter Mardi, sorry, Walter Mardi. They just call him Walter. They were calling him Walter Messi in Germany because he's that good at dribbling. They reckon he's not. Obviously, he's not that kind of level, but he's very good at dribbling and running with the ball. Like so, especially for a tall lad like that. I haven't
seen much of him, to be honest with you, but I think they got away with it a little bit because of what happened. And a couple of last minute signs. How good they're going to be, I don't know. I've never been a great fan of Wissep, but I think he's okay. I think he's more of a replacement for not so much Isaac, but as Wilson's back up. So yeah, I think they've done okay without doing great. I think they've got away with it a little bit after the Isaac fiasco.
Jacob Ramsey as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't seem a bad signing, Ramsey. I liked him at Villa. Yeah, good player.
Yeah, I thought he's got potential, but he just never actually seems to do any, actually achieve anything on the pitch, much on the pitch.
I think he's a decent, solid player.
It's a few injuries up as
one
well.
of them you need. One of them you need, I think, in the side. Someone who's going to come in and step up when he can, but always do a job for you. That's where I see Jacob Ramsey anyway.
Okay. Where do you see them finishing this season?
Just outside the top four, maybe 5, 6. I'd be where I'd put them at the moment. About you, Rob?
Look similar, but I thought maybe a couple of spaces down from that.
Yeah,
around the 8th, 9th mark. That's what I was thinking.
For me, it depends on how they use Walter Mardi. If they use him properly and not just as a big target man, because he's not a big target man at all. He's not particularly for a player. He's another one of those, like a bit like Peter Crouch, where he's huge, but he's not particularly good in the air. But it does seem like they've now gone down the same as the Arsenal, gone down the Stoke route, and are looking at just balls. You know what I mean? Loading it into the penalty box,
hoofing it up.
Well. Yeah, that you won't do well at that. So if they do that, they're going to struggle to get in. They won't get in the top four. They won't get in the Champions League. But if they use him correctly, like they have done with Isaac, where they've used him well, they'll be fine. They'll be in. They'll be chasing the top four. Might not make it, but they'll definitely be in the battle again. Who else have we not done? We done Villa since we talked about Ramsey,
I think that was the last one we did.
right? What
yesterday.
about Forest? Did we mention them?
No, I don't think so.
No, we never mentioned Forest.
Yeah, theirs was a bit messy, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. They made a few signings, but when you look at them last week, they didn't look the side that they were. I know it's only early days and it's only the third game, but they had bad results, and you'd have expected them to do a lot better against a poor West Ham side. And I know players have got to take time to fit in, but I don't think they've done great business, but I don't think they've done much. They'd be in very much the bottom half of the transfer, league of how they've done this year for me.
I think the problem they've had is a bit of a power tussle between the new man Edu they brought in to run the group. Marinakis was brought him in to run the group of clubs, as the transfer group, but a whole lot, not just Forest, but also Olympiacos and anyone else they acquire. He acquires. He's got a Brazilian club as well, hasn't he? And that. Anyway, Edu's been brought in to run that, and him and Nuno have not hit it off at all. They've been at loggerheads, which isn't a surprise considering that he spent the entire time at Arsenal causing problems as well. Edu, he was fighting with Arteta all the time. So it's hardly a surprise he's struggling again.
And they seem to make a lot of signings every transfer window. Like 10 plus. From more what I remember back then and what I've kind of seen again now, it's always they make a lot of signings.
Oh yeah, loads. And some of them you think, who are these players? And you never see them again. I mean, they had to release a few of them again this summer. Ones that they bought in the past. A lot of them end up just playing for Olympiacos or one of his other teams, and he just buys them with Forest as well and stuff. It's a very odd system, but it's
But to be fair, they done
weird.
very well last season, didn't they, Forest? They played very well as well. I'm not a big fan of the target man they've got, but he's done well and he scored quite a few goals, and I think that's where they're going to fall down a bit this year. I don't think they're going to score as many goals as they did last year.
Well, he's 34, and he's always had a few injury problems.
Wood's getting on, yeah.
Yeah, that's what's always been his problem. He's always been a decent player, but he just could never stay fit. Last season, he stayed fit for the full season, and so he scored a few goals. But I can't see him doing it again, not at 34, and they ask a lot of him. He's a very good player, though. Yes, where do we think they'll finish?
Forest, mid-table for me. I think they're going to be a mid-table side. I think they've had the day in the sun, which was last year, and they've got European football, and I don't think it's going to be easy for a side like Nottingham Forest to hold on to what they've done last
Have
year.
you noticed 3 of the new signings as well? None in the European squad. 3 of their new signings, which tells you something about the power struggle between Nuno and Edu. I don't think he wanted a lot of players he got given. He actually went out and complained to the media, properly complained, had a right wind because he wanted a third keeper as well, which is a bizarre thing to do, to put yourself out, to start a fight over, isn't it? So what about you, Rob? Where do you think they'll finish?
Roughly what Bill said, I reckon, around the same, between 10th, 12th, 13th.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're going to, top half will be about as good as they can expect, and probably but somewhere in the mid-table. It's just a European football and the power struggle with Nuno, and I think that's going to hold them back. Otherwise, I think they'd be easily top half. You know what I mean? They'd be fighting for a European place for definite, but with this power battle, and I just think it's going to hold them back badly.
Yeah, we never talked about Leeds either, did we?
Yeah, none of the. I don't think we did any of the Pride, did we?
No, we never. But that was come up on the. I've just been checking on the phone there. That's one of them that got mentioned. We didn't do. I don't think Leeds done much business, to be honest with you. Much good business. Well,
they signed like 10 players, but it was just early in the window, so all the fans are whining
they haven't
because
got much quality.
Yeah,
They haven't bought much quality
That
for
looks
me.
good.
And the supporters are saying the same. You know, they never bought much quality that they were hopeful for, because they said they had 150 million to spend, and I don't know how much they actually spent in the end. But you know, I don't think they've done great business. I think they'd be down there as well.
I think they were expecting to sell more, and that was the problem. And so they ended up not being able to buy all the players they wanted, because that's the impression I get from what they, because they didn't have that much money to spend. And, you know, they've gone all in basically, but they didn't have enough. They couldn't make a couple of the Patch Tower, or whatever his name, however it's pronounced, that they missed out on, that the forward they missed out on. They couldn't get it over the line because they just couldn't pay. They couldn't get the deal. You know, they couldn't pay the money that was needed to make the deal happen. And so they missed out on him. And there was a couple like that as well. And that's where the problem was. They just didn't have the money.
Plus, I don't think they could attract the better players they wanted, and so they've ended up with players like Calvert-Lewin, who,
yeah,
you know, who's on good money, to be fair to him, like, and but he's like a Class B signing rather than what they were looking
you think
for,
he's
which
that
would
good?
be Class A. Yeah, well, he's a very good target man actually, but he's not very good on the ground. He's probably the opposite to Walter Mardy.
Yeah, but you need him to score goals, and he's not going to. That's their issue, is they don't have goals. And they're forwards.
Absolutely.
I mean, Dan James is hogback at Premier League level. He really is awful. And on the other side, that Nonto, he's just offers nothing,
He's
really.
very wishy-washy.
Just does nothing. Yeah, he's got no ability. You know. Yeah, I can't see them do it. They're going to be in a relegation battle, I think.
I think so. I
few
said
of their
that from the
players,
start.
Tanaka and that, but it's at the top end of the pitch. They just lack the quality needed, I think. What about you, Rob? Oh,
no, definitely struggle street for them this year. I was just trying to think of half of the signings that they made. If they made 10,
Bijo, sorry, carry on. Sorry.
No, that's the whole point. Like, no one really notable. Like you guys have said, they haven't really signed a lot of quality. I've never been the biggest fan of Daniel Farker either as a manager. So yeah, struggle street, relegation battle, and if they do make it, it'll be by like one spot.
Yeah. Oh, and is Seamus back?
I'd agree with that, Rob.
But he's got his stand off. Yeah,
the kites fell down.
Nah. Did you guys talk about City last?
No, I don't think we did. City either. So we've got Leeds in a relegation battle. Should we do City then next?
Go on.
Yeah,
let Leeds take this one.
We have to talk about Leeds before City because
we just done Leeds.
Yeah, that's what I said. If people are feeling that we're doing it because Leeds are higher priced, I have actually been surprised by Leeds. They've been solid at home, which is not something I associate with a Daniel Farker team. It's actually a pleasant surprise. I thought they were gonna bleed goals. Even Jack freaking Grealish couldn't do anything against it, could he? Yeah, with Man City, I think the window started pretty well for them, getting in decent players to slot into the first team, but it just seems Mr. Intensity has taken the life out of the team that was already on an ICU bed.
Yeah, they don't look the same, do they?
No.
It might just be me, but they seem to lack the spark in the attacking half, the final third. And they've never actually been a solid defensive team. It was always because they retained the possession so much. But
and they scared teams before. Some teams wouldn't commit to attack them because they were scared of being picked off. And so they'd only go half-heartedly and attack. And I think that's gone. They've lost that fear factor. And they look shambolic at the back. It's got to be said. They look all over the place. Very reminiscent of when Pep Lijnders was coaching at Liverpool. How shambolic the defence was with him there. You know, so you got to think he's having some input, and it's not a good one. And they lack quality. They lack real, like you're saying, like sparkle. And I think that's the big thing. They don't. Bernardo Silva just has lost any of his, any of his spark. He used to be skillful and exciting to watch, and now he's just not. He's just turned into a shit kicker.
He's more of a scrum on his play.
Yeah, and
that
who else?
Whole keeping thing was that.
All they've got is Marmouche now.
And reindeers.
Marmouche is a bit of a hit and miss kind of a player. Like I just think his playing style is like he can create a wow moment, but also a why and a how moment.
Yeah.
He can score he can score a worldly from 30 yards outside, but if it doesn't go in, you're eventually gonna think like, why did he shoot from there?
Yeah, he takes risks and he's exciting. That's the thing. That's why I like. He's quick.
Yeah,
he offers something different.
For me, this is Pep winding down. I don't think you'll see Pep in English football next year. I think this is his wind down and his saying goodbye to the thing. I think the big lad up front, Haaland, he's lost his bit of a spark, which happens when you sign a 10-year deal or a 9-year deal and your money's guaranteed, and you tend to take your foot off the gas maybe a bit. And I think there's a few players like that in the Man City side.
Do you know what I think with Haaland is the issue? His plan was always next, and he had a break clause in his contract if Real Madrid came in for him. And I think Kylian Mbappe going there and okay, it may not have been the most successful season for the team, but he scored a lot of goals. And now I think he's realised they don't want him, and they're not going to want him. He's never going to get that move. He doesn't fit in a Real Madrid system. He can't play. He's just not a Real Madrid player, is he? He's a goal scorer, but they want players who can play football, and he can't play football. He can only do one thing. If he's not scoring, he's absolutely useless. You're playing with 10 men with him on the pitch. If he's not, that's it. And I think that's cost him a lot. I think he's just realising now that he's not going to go any further than Man City. This is it. This is his career.
I think a lot of complacency is set in at Manchester City. They've won all these things. It happens in football. They've won the cups, they've won the leagues, and they've lost some key players, the likes of Gundogan, David Silva, really good players who've done well for them. And they haven't got that spark, them players, the game changes. They've got good players, but I don't think they've got as many game changes as they have. And I think the club is on the way down rather than the way up. For me, anyway, personally.
Yeah, and he seems to coach the ability out of players these days rather than bring it out of them. He's forcing it out. He's forcing it out of them rather than bringing it out in their play. If you see what I mean. You watch them and they just seem stifled, and the positional play he wants, it's stopping players from actually playing.
They're actually a bit boring to watch, don't you think so? It might be just me, but I think they're a bit boring to watch, Man City. I really do.
Yeah, they have been.
They were always boring. But previously they had players who could, in just a couple of seconds, take the game, turn it on its head with a brilliant pass or a very fleet-footed dribble. But that kind of individual brilliance is lacking in the team, and the team as a whole doesn't have the same quality anymore. So I know I shouldn't be negative.
KDB is a big loss, isn't he? Kevin De Bruyne is a massive loss to them as well. He made things happen, and he made it so easy for players around him. And without that, they're just a bit of a run-of-the-mill side. They're still a good side, obviously, but they're a bit of a run-of-the-mill at the moment.
They're very weak at the back as well. Their defence is just not... You look at the players, they don't look good at all, as a unit or individually. So where do we think they'll finish? Rob, do you want to go first, since you've been the quietest on this?
Like in terms of spots on the table, I'd probably have to say fourth or fifth. I think they've dropped off a fair bit as well. They might even have more of a drop off than last year's league position. All the points, especially Bill, some of the stuff was nail on the head for me. I mean, I'm happy that it's happening because they've been good for so long. But I do think, give them a year or two, new manager will come in, because I'm also convinced that Guardiola's probably in his last season, depending on who they bring in, and they'll obviously be backed in the window because they've got the funds behind them. They'll be back up there in the next year or so.
Okay, Billy?
Yeah, as I said, I think 5 or 6. I think they're with the Newcastles now. I don't think they're top 4 material, personally. Don't think they've got the side to do it, but that's just my opinion, of course.
Seamus?
I started the season saying they'll finish second, but just forget about any other places. The goalkeeper they've signed is the first and second places one. They are so unsuited to pitch football, and also having seen them not do so well. I lost all my confidence in that prediction of second, so I'd probably say maybe third. They might sneak at the end of the season, but probably fourth, because I don't think there are teams even now that I can be confident about. I can say with full belief that they'll end up at the season because there has been a lot of movement around the clubs that finish around the fourth place. That's one thing we are also to take under consideration. Like we can say they're finished fifth, but can we openly, honestly name 4 teams that we believe are better than them? And I don't think there are 4 better teams.
Yeah, that's the only reason I'd say they'll be top 4 is because there's a lot of Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool. Oh, it's frozen again.
Have you not watched Jack Grealish? None of you's been watching Jack Grealish, no?
Yeah, that's why we don't
rule Everton now for that third and fourth
Well, according to you, from what I've been reading on the site, you've already won the league again in October.
Well, not yet. No,
like last time when Carlo Ancelotti was in, and you all had the league. Apparently, you'd won the league in October. Remember?
Well, things change.
And where did you finish? Yeah, we did. Well, it did, because you finished mid-table mediocrity again, despite having won the league in October. Yeah. So
I think we've done most of the things. So can we just go back to the review of the games last week?
Right? Yeah. Okay.
And I thought Brazil done well, to be honest with you, getting that result at Forest, at Wolves. Sorry. Yeah, the new Brazil scored some great goals. Beto was on the score sheet.
Brazil. New Brazil.
Well, they are playing like Brazil. Everton are
like
playing
Brazil.
like Brazil at the
like
moment.
Brazil now.
They are the new Brazil.
Yeah, like the Brazil now. You mean shite? Yeah.
No, they done well, Everton, last week. They done well. They played some good stuff.
To be fair, you were playing
still a couple short. But I know, but nice movement, like passionate movements. And Jack, what a player. When he's got that ball at his feet, you can't get it off him. He's just a magician.
Well, you can, but he'll throw himself to the ground, and no matter how many fouls he does on the opposition, he'll get a free kick.
I used to think that, when he played for Man City, but
that's because he
was wrong. I was wrong.
You were right.
People just have to kick him because they can't get the ball off him.
He's the one doing the kicking most of the time. He's just a cheat. Let's be honest.
It's the new Jack.
Bless
We'll have to see about that.
Bless you.
I'd like to talk about the Arsenal-Liverpool game. Liverpool-Arsenal, should I say.
Yeah.
Bit of a boring game, not for me. I thought it was terribly boring. But, Liverpool got and what a free kick by Stoppers. I must say that was an excellent free kick. The rest of the game, though, was, mainly down to Arteta, I suppose. They're just coming out for a draw. And I thought they were so weak.
Can I just say one thing? The problem with Szoboszlai, Just one problem with Szoboszlai. I wanted to get his name on the back of my shirt, but
they cost too much.
No. They couldn't figure out how to spell it, even when I had it written down for them, and I just don't know. I don't want to forget it. I'll go Bates instead. Because they were getting it wrong. And, when you see, you're like, no, that's not how it's... I just said, no, just forget it. Bates. They know how that one's spelt, you see. They had that one, that was all set up, ready. So I was just like, no, I'll just take it. Forget it. Oh, what it was like. So I was good, yeah. Sorry,
He started off well. And I thought Liverpool, they don't have to win it, but I thought the whole game, the spectacle of supposedly the two best sides in the country, I thought it was a very weak
10
performance
minutes.
by both of them.
10 minutes.
A bit, a bit wishy-washy for me. I was expecting this dynamic attack and play, and Arsenal offered absolutely nothing. Martinelli, what a poor player. And even Madueke on the right, he never done great. Kirk has kept him quiet, I suppose. But they got, and the other fella, Gyökeres, he looked like a Coventry player rather than, someone who's done well at European level. He looked absolutely awful to me. And now I know it's early days, but if that's the standard they're setting, I think they're not going to be much of a threat to Liverpool.
Yeah, he's not a Stoke player though, is he, Gyökeres? It was a straight that's what I was doing. He's just not a Stoke player, is he? It's the wrong buy for a team like Arsenal. They needed someone they could hoof it up to. They should have had Calvert-Lewin. He'd have been perfect for the way they play. What did you think, Rob?
Rob, what did you think of your side performance?
I thought exactly what you said in terms of boring. It was pretty like Arteta did not go there to win that game.
No.
He would be 100% happy to walk out of there with 1 point and move on and then have to play us again at their home ground. I felt like we started off pretty average. We didn't play well at all in the first half. But then again, they never really threatened to, even though they were slightly better, in my opinion, in the first half, they never really looked like they were going to, score or beat us. Then the second half came, and I think once the changes got made and Maka came off, Curtis Jones came on, we looked a little bit better, moved the ball a little bit better. I still think there was a couple players that are still playing a bit not to their level. That obviously is still very early in the season, but I did think there was a couple players that actually really surprised me. And like for example, I know Kirkes is still a new player, but he played his best game. Some of his sliding tackles were really nice to see. I know they were last ditch. I had my heart in my mouth kind of moments. I thought Canade, and he kind of surprised me. He played a lot better. But there's one thing that gives me the shits with him is he lets the ball drop all the time from when they hoof it up. And once you let that ball drop, you're just inviting danger. And it freaking happened time and time again. And it was such a better performance for, like, in a way, compared to the dog shit we saw in the first two games. But when every time he was letting that ball drop, it was giving me the shits.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it?
I was really pissed off.
It's all very well saying he was better, but he was better than absolute dogma. So it's not like he was great.
But in my opinion, going into that game with how he was playing, I was like, man, this guy's going to cost us 2 goals. He's going to, So look, we got past that game with a win. The free kick was unbelievable. Never thought in a million years that would have happened. But then again, I know he does take a lot of free kicks for the national team. And if that's the free kick taker we're going to have moving forward, man, I'm happy. So Salah was very quiet again. I think he's had a bit of a slow start to the season. I know it's been I'll keep bringing it up. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I know it's been an emotional off season. But I really think Salah's been one that's been affected by it a lot, and that was shown a couple of weeks ago after the game when he had tears. I still back him to come good. We all know his quality. He is getting slightly older, so we'll see how that kind of pans out. But look, I was just very happy to take the 3 points from Arsenal because I know they're going to be one of the contenders with us and whoever else contends if there is another one. So that was a very important 3 points, move forward, and yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the key thing. Is it's about getting the 3 points in a game like that. Those kind of games are always terrible. It must be said. You never watch the big games. I was talking to one of the Arsenal fans on their site before it. He's saying before the game, he's saying about hope it's a good game, and I was saying they never are. Though, are they? These kind of games, but you can hope. And they just aren't. It's just too cheap. There's always one of them sets out to just hold out for the draw. And it was Arteta. He had no intention of trying to win it. I mean, you could see that. What's his face? The one that was playing right back, who's actually a centre back, but of course, obviously Arteta. Jurien Timber, yeah, that's it. Yeah, he was
What did you think of it,
when they won down.
Seamus? What did you watch the game, Seamus? The Arsenal or Liverpool game?
Yeah, I watched the game. I was complaining about stuff there. No? Another thing is, I know Arsenal, they don't like it when I say it, but Arsenal are pretty much a non-team in attack when there is no Saka. If Saka is fully then they have can produce a bit of magic, a bit of moment. But if Arsenal are not playing a game without Saka, then there's like not just their attacking threat, but even their set pieces get half because Arsenal are a team that their corners are famed, but it's always the inching was they were like neutralized pretty easily.
Why didn't they just have somebody with a left foot? They must have somebody else with a left foot who could put in an in-swinging corner when it was on the other side. Instead of Rice putting it out swinging, why didn't you just put somebody else on to take the left one? The in-swinger.
They had a week to figure that out. They could have had maybe, I don't know if he is good at it or not, but they had Mourinho is a left footer.
Yeah.
I even want them to be in the box as well, but you can't have it.
Yeah, but you'd want Rice to be in the box as well if you could. He's brilliant in you.
I forgot they had Madueke. Come on, and just work it out for a week.
Yeah.
And work something.
Well, why wasn't Nwaneri playing as a
defended better? They were defending the corners better than United and but then again, one team is a defending champion, the others are relegation candidates.
Yeah, I mean, Virgil was excellent. He almost cleared every head. Almost every corner was his head, putting it away. He was brilliant.
He's had a good start. Yeah, he's had a really good start this season.
Well, he wasn't good in the first couple.
He was the best passer on the field.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Well, I don't know. Szoboszlai might argue.
Oh, he's man.
That
I almost don't want to touch him out of right back.
Oh.
Yeah, Soldo is like.
See, I think I'm getting a hard on just thinking about that ball.
No, and Arsenal. Against Arsenal, Soldo was like a trend region. Like if you could in FIFA you could improve trends.
Yeah.
Here, there, and like it was like that. Like next the free kicks, even better than the ones Trent had. Not saying Trent had terrible ones, but it was like.
Before we go, can we talk about Man United's game with Burnley?
Oh yeah.
We don't have enough time, Billy.
No, we've got a minute.
Discussed them really, have we?
We don't need much time. Go on, Bill.
I thought they got away with a bit of murder there. It was a penalty, whether you like it or not. It was a penalty, but they still looked very poor. To be honest with you, United, I was expecting them to, after the debacle midweek, I was expecting them to come out fighting, and they did to a certain extent. The lack of quality is just not there, and they're not going to be a top 4 side or anywhere near it like some people were expecting at the start of the season. I can't see them being anywhere near the top of the table, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Rob, did you watch the Man United game?
So this is going to sound really petty and stupid, but my internet provider decided to do unplanned outages over the weekend. So I almost got lucky just to watch Liverpool because they were on it, I think it was Monday or Tuesday morning. So I had internet issues the whole weekend, and obviously I'm streaming all the games. The only game I did catch was half of the City-Brighton game, and that was the good half, the second half. So I really couldn't watch much over the weekend.
How about you, Deeps? Do you watch it?
Yeah, nowadays I can stream the games on my phone, so I can watch it wherever there is internet. I'm even recommending you guys the apps. A local provider here, because it's the first season, they're just giving it away for free.
That's mad.
Imagine having access to 3 o'clock kickoffs, and you even get to choose the games you want to watch. I could have watched Man City winning 1-0, but I chose to watch Forest costing me the FPL with late.
Yeah, I've got to say we do need to thank West Ham for that, because they cost Seamus the win of the FPL this week, and that alone, we would never have heard the end of it for the next 25 years if he'd have won it a week on the FPL. So thank you very much, West Ham, for doing that for us. That was very kind of you.
Let's get back to the
No, but
games.
anyway,
Did you watch the Forest game, Tris? Did you watch the Forest game?
No, it was
we're
on.
not done with United, are we?
Oh, sorry, you're still on United. Go on.
Are we done with United or not? Because what do you guys make of the decision to rescind the penalty that was given by the referee for the foul by Mount? Not Mount. Foul by Walker and Mount.
Oh, you on about the Chelsea game? What game?
No. Kyle Walker, Burnley player, fouled Mason Mount, Man United player.
Yeah,
It was
of course.
given as a penalty.
I forgot he's at Man United then. Well, that was what threw me out. I was thinking, hey, yeah, yeah, sorry, got you, yeah. I just think that have I seen a single VAR decision I've agreed with this season?
My point is, like, you can say it was not a penalty, but you cannot say it was not a foul. If you're overruling a penalty because the incident took place outside the box, then surely you have to say the right decision is a free kick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I mean. I've not agreed with a single VAR decision yet this season. Not one. And that's another one. I just think, sometimes you think it's just because, like, okay, the referee's made a decision. It's not a clear and obvious mistake. So why is VAR even getting involved? And sometimes it's because VAR just openly gets it wrong, blatantly. And you're just thinking, there's just not one. There's not been one decision they've made, and I've thought, oh yeah, that was the right decision. But I'm sure PGMOL will be along in a few weeks to tell us how they've got every decision right except one, because they've admitted one was wrong, haven't they? That's one. Yeah, right.
We will get to that. We will get to that. But with Man United, we should not have gone into the halftime just 1-0 up. It should have been, not just could have been. It should have been at least 2 or possibly 4-0. We missed so many good opportunities, good moments. And I know it comes down to lack of quality, lack of confidence, everything. But ultimately, if your players aren't converting those chances, then surely it's not just the manager and the system, because the same system could have seen United go 4-0 in, and people would have been like, "Oh, Ruben Amorim has made this adjustment, that adjustment." No, it's part of the system to create those chances, and part of the system to get yourself exposed as well.
Do you know what I thought watching the first half is their players playing for their manager? Because there was a lot of talk of him leaving and that. They looked like players that were trying to prove to, trying to play for him. But in the second half, they thought the game was won. And that's the problem. I think that was the problem. They just thought, we've done enough now. We've won it. It's only, it's only Burnley. They're shite. Let's be honest. They're not going to come back and get, they're not going to score against us. They're going to sit back. They'll defend, and they'll just hope to hang on. And we've got this one. And that's what it felt like to me. Is first off, they would try. The players were giving it all for the manager, and they went out there and they gave it all, and they were a better team by a significant margin. But in the second half, they just thought, yeah, we've done this. And we've got this. It's only Burnley. And they sat back. And that's where you had the problems for me.
This is the margin of our victory. This much, and then the offside would have been onside, and everything would have gone tits up.
Yeah, but if that was what you're going to go on, Nunes was actually a good forward because he was only missing by
I'm not
that
saying
much. He was only offside by that much so many times.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
Yeah,
At 2-2, this was the difference between us
yeah.
going 3-2 and chasing a victory. So it's all swings and roundabouts. Kudos to Burnley. Like they came out in the second half and actually made a game of it instead of unlike some teams who are happy to lose game 1-0, like they
Mm.
actually wanted to play. And they were not just busy like fouling people and everything. But ultimately, it's that's the thing with these promoter sites. Like they have some fight and all, but ultimately there is not enough quality to
Mm.
chase the game. But it was also kind of a sad thing for United to see Cunha get injured so early. That also changed it up a little bit with Sexy and all. But
Yeah, do you
let's
think
hope let's hope as he tried it, let's hope it's not a big injury for him.
do you think he's doing the right thing going with Cunha and Bumo and Mount up front and putting Bruno in the midfield, or do you think it's
If you ask me, choose one guy to be the central midfielder, the other to be a false nine. I'll have the roles reversed. I'd rather have Mount as midfielder and Bruno as a nine. But I think Mount is just a placeholder. I am fully expecting Benjamin Sesko to lead the line for us.
Hmm.
But but that is one thing I've noticed in all of our games. The moment Sesko comes on, the attack stops functioning. There is not enough players making the runs around him, not enough balls. He doesn't get enough touches of the balls, and
Hmm.
it can't be always the striker not being good enough when it's so many players and still the same issues. I hope we can figure that out and how we integrate him would be the thing. But if Amorim wants to keep a job, it has to be done by keeping clean sheets.
Hmm.
You can't concede 2 goals at home against Burnley and be very close to your third one as well.
Mm.
Hmm. Yeah, it's early days, so he's got plenty of time. Right, what was the other games? Forest. What was the other one? Forest.
There was a very contentious game at the Fulham game against away at Chelsea,
Yeah.
and the decision given was an absolute disgrace. The PGMOL have apologised like they normally do, and too late for Fulham, obviously. And
Yeah,
I thought
apologies don't
Fulham
give
were the better side against them, to be honest with
So what
you,
you say,
against Chelsea. Sorry.
apologies don't give you any points. And it's
No, they
happened
don't.
twice in two home games for Chelsea. I don't know about the West Ham game because I didn't watch West Ham against Chelsea in the second game week. But first game against Palace, it's a contentious decision. It's a decision I don't completely agree with because I've seen almost every other free kick have the same situation and it not get reprimanded. But against Fulham, they come out and apologize. Like it's almost like Chelsea have the PGM on this side. Like
Mm.
it, it just looks like that. How can you give game changing decisions in the favor of the same team again and again when they are at best contentious and at worst wrong decisions when you're using fucking VAR? It's not a referee gave a wrong decision, it happens. You're looking at the replays, you're making a conclusive decision, and then 7 hours later, it's like, oh, we're sorry, we're turning our heads around and didn't see the incident. Like, what's the message they're trying to give away?
How do you miss it? How do you miss it with that many replays? How do you see that as a foul and force the referee to go and change his mind rather than just saying, "Well, let's just go with the referee's decision"? Because it took them what 7 minutes was it in the end? Something
As you were
ridiculous
saying
like that.
before, Tris, they had no need to get involved
Yeah,
in that whatsoever, by
it
the way.
doesn't matter whether it's
That
Mm.
wrong
was
or
a
right.
foul
That's
on
the
the
point.
halfway line.
Yeah, the point is, was it clear and obvious? No. Otherwise, they wouldn't need 7 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever to look at it. They'd look at it first time and say, "Oh." You know what I mean? If it's clear and obvious, you should only need one look at it to say, "Oh, yeah, that's definitely wrong." You know what I mean? Or I could be wrong, but you look at that FaceTime and you thought, "I don't see what's wrong with it."
Where was he supposed to put his foot?
Yeah. I mean, he's not stamped on his foot. He stood on his foot. That happens all over the pitch. Every 5 minutes in a match, somebody gets their foot trod on. It's just part of the game. Guys, you never have a corner taken.
But you have to feel for Fulham, don't you? They played quite well, and I thought they were the better side, actually. They had a couple of good chances. And you've got to feel for Marco Silva. He was gutted after that. And you can see why that costs people jobs, results like that. And that's just not right. And it costs teams who could be in a relegation. Now, I'm not saying that Fulham will. I'm saying it can cost people that livelihood in the top division, And it's got to be cut out, them stupid mistakes like that. I'd get rid of her myself.
Yeah, I think it's proven that they're just incapable of using it properly. So why bother with it?
Yeah,
it's not adding to the game; it's detracting from it.
It's not VAR that's wrong, It's the people who are running
exactly right.
Idiots at Stockley Park who are making these decisions. Some of them aren't even football people, and they're making decisions that affect all the league and the games and people's aspirations. And I think it's totally wrong that anyone besides either an ex-referee or top professionals should be running that.
And the problem is, you've got being run by Howard Webb, who's an ex-copper, who's obviously learned the same way that they all did, to cover up and lie about everything that they do wrong, rather than just admitting and make it, and looking for positive change. By when you make a mistake, the idea is we all make mistakes. Everybody, we all do. It's human, we're humans. We make mistakes. What we should be doing is saying, right, we've made a mistake there. How can we improve it? But instead, he just covers up and lies, makes up lies to cover their tracks. When rather than saying, right, we've got that one wrong. How can we make sure that doesn't happen again? How can we improve the way we train our, the referees so that they can spot that isn't actually a foul? That was a perfectly fair, it was just the guy had stood on his foot. It was, when he was turning round. It's just one of those things that happens, and they won't. They'll cover it up and they'll lie and they just won't look at it as a mistake that needs to be rectified in the future. They'll just say, "Oh yeah."
That's why you need ex-professionals, top professionals running it, because they know that happens in a side. In a game,
be involved, at least.
That goes on all the time. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
And fouls in the area, which ones are pulls, which ones. They know all what's going on. But the people running it are absolute idiots, and it's not going to improve.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You need to have the input of players into this, and ex-players into the PGMOL needs to be changed. It shouldn't be run by referees. It should be run by a mixed group of people, referees and ex-footballers who should be involved in it. They need to be, because they need to instruct referees how to view the game, what to look at and what's going on there. And they don't. They won't take anybody else's opinion because they think they know better. Because Howard Webb's an absolute. See you next time. That's what he is.
I couldn't stand him back then, and I cannot stand him now. I don't think that's ever going to change.
He was Man United's number 12, wasn't he, for years?
Can we get back to the games? I don't know if anyone watched it. I doubt it, or would remember it. The Newcastle game was terrible.
Who did they play?
0-0 draw. They drew 0-0 with the. Who did they draw 0-0 with? I'm trying to think who they drew 0-0 with.
Did they
Can
play
you remember
Leeds?
No, yeah, they did. Yeah, sorry, it was Leeds. Yeah, it was Leeds against Newcastle.
Yeah, it was Leeds Newcastle at Ellen Road.
Yeah. I just watched that.
Let's not talk about that.
Yeah, it was just a bore.
That is the worst. That was one of the worst decisions I made in my life.
Yeah.
Quite some years.
I think we've said all we need to say about that. It was terrible. 0-0 and 0-0, and they were lucky to get 0. Either of them. Yeah. In fact, that was probably a score to, a few goals too many for the way they played.
The next thing we should talk about is Sunderland Brentford.
Sunderland Brentford, yeah. I didn't watch that one. Yeah. I didn't watch that one, so I can't.
I watched the highlights of it.
Yeah, that's all I saw.
They done quite well, to be fair. Sunderland to get away with it. They 1-0 down, and they come back, made a couple of substitutions, and the crowd were really up for it, and they done well to get a win out of it. To be honest with you, they're fighting for their lives, and it wasn't that bad a game. It wasn't never a great quality, but it was an exciting game, I'd say.
I fear for Brentford.
Yeah, well done to Sunderland.
I fear for Brentford. They're in real trouble.
Yeah, they don't look good at all.
It was not the greatest moment for Kevin Gallagher.
He's not a good captain. I've said this all along. I'm not a big fan of his. I've always said
you did. You have.
He makes really too many mistakes. He does this. He cost us quite a few goals in his time at Liverpool. People saying how well he did, and I'm thinking he's just cost us 2 goals, like against Newcastle in particular is the one that stood out. He cost us 2 goals in the game. People were still talking about how well he's done, to cover for Alisson. I'm thinking, no, he's just cost us 2 goals. I like the lad. He seemed like a great lad, and he's not a bad keeper, but he's not a great keeper. He's just an okay keeper. He's just a lower Premier League keeper. You know what I mean?
He's a better number 2 than what he was that he is a number 1.
Far, yeah. But he's one of those. He does get better the longer he plays. You know what I mean? He did improve when he got more games. So I think he might get better. You know what I mean? I expect him to get better, but I still don't think he'll be a great keeper ever. Sadly. What was the other games? Crystal Palace. Who did they play? I've forgotten.
They beat.
Villa. That was it. I was going to say because that was a really good performance, especially considering, the way things were. Though, because the Guayi goal, and then you think
that was a good goal too.
What a goal, yeah. But and then
perfect send off,
and then to get shafted. Afterwards, it's so sad for the lad. But they were really good, Palace against Villa. Villa.
They were playing poorly, aren't they? Playing very poorly.
Oh, well, did we talk about them in the transfer thing? Did we mention them
yesterday? Villa.
Yeah, well,
yeah,
yes, that's true. Yes, we did mention them. Sorry, I couldn't remember. My memory doesn't go that far back. So they look in real trouble, Villa, don't they? I mean, you could see them in a relegation battle if they don't pick up soon. I don't think they'll get relegated. I don't think they'll get relegated, but they could end up getting dragged into the fight for a while. A bit like Everton last season, where they were in it to start with, and then they started picking up results and got themselves out of it and ended up mid-table mediocrity. You know what I mean? That's what I mean by relegation. But I don't think they'll actually be in danger of being relegated. I think they'll just be down there for a bit longer than they'd like. Yeah.
Right, I'd like to talk about the goal of the week now.
I thought we'd already
mentioned it's between Szoboszlai and no. How about Kieran Dewsbury Hall? What a finish in the top corner. One touch from Big Jack and right in the top corner. It was quality.
Now he's grown in size and everything since he's joined Everton. Now he's Big Jack. He was the shithouse who couldn't stop cheating until he joined Everton. Now he's suddenly Big Jack, the Super Jack. Oh, the hero.
He's changed.
Has he?
Jack's changed.
Has he?
Give the man credit. He makes things happen. He should be in that England squad, to be honest with you. But maybe that's just me.
I think it probably is. He won't get it. The thing is, Tuchel's already said he wants the teams playing. He wants them playing in European competition.
Yeah, well.
Now he's at Everton. He's forgotten. He's given that up, hasn't he? He's given that up for his career now. Only if they put
But
it down to
AC Milan
15th place.
but AC Milan aren't in European football and it's still called a Ruben Loftus-Cheek.
Yeah.
Loftus-Cheek.
Yeah, Loftus-Cheek got a recall, didn't he? It's an odd one.
Anderson's in, isn't he?
It's been a long time since I've seen him
Elliot
play.
is a very good player. Like I wanted to make that point when you guys were talking about Newcastle, but instead of spending the money on Jacob Ramsey, they could have kept Elliot Anderson last year and then had a better player on their books. But I know the sale was done like solely for the PSR reasons. So that's that. But Elliot Anderson is a good player.
Right.
Yeah. So, who you going for goal of the week then, Bill?
I'm going for Dewsbury Home myself.
I knew you would do.
I like Szoboszlai. I must admit, it was a good free kick, but it was a bit hit and hope.
Was
Dewsbury
it?
Hall's
Oh, come on. Come on.
and I thought the goalie could have got to it.
He
That's
watched
just
the
me.
keeper move to his left and then he went to the other side of him. Don't give me hit and
The
hope.
thing is, the keeper shouldn't have moved to his left.
But he had
There's
to, he
the
couldn't
problem.
see the ball. He couldn't see the
Should've
ball.
known
If you
goal.
watch it from the other side, there's plenty of footage out there. He has to move to his left to see through a gap in the wall.
Look, I'm saying
So
it
it's
was a
his
good
fault.
free kick. It was a good free kick.
Did you see the
What the
Did
hell?
you see the footage of Allison setting up the wall, helping
Yeah.
us set up the wall from behind?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, there was footage from behind the goals of Allison directing the players and setting up where he wanted our Liverpool players in the wall to sit, so it would distract
Block the
David
view,
Raya,
yeah.
and I thought that was brilliant.
Yes, I mean it was
All
a
right,
proper
now I've seen that.
properly that was done deliberately. They'd worked on it in training. He got him set. Allison sets up the wall to block his view. Raya moves
I
to
know
watch
why I
the,
never
to
seen
see
it
where
though.
it is. Yeah, Raya has to
I don't know
move
why I never
across
seen it.
to see
I
where
fell
it was.
asleep
Why?
Yeah.
with that game. I was fast asleep like everybody else watching that game,
Good call.
and that's
Good
why I
call,
missed
Bill.
it.
That's a
I
top
think.
call.
Oh bless you. I was asleep. Yeah, you was. That'll be why you didn't think it was a goal of the week. I mean, I could have understood if you'd said Guaya's goal. That, yeah, I'll give you because he'll never score another one like it in his career, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, yeah, this guy's got to be Shabazz Lice. I mean, yeah. I even
Anyone
there's no
watch
point
the
asking
City?
Jameis, like, because
Go on, Rob. What were you saying, mate?
No, I was going to say, anyone watch the City Brighton game?
yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
I
I
did.
certainly watched the highlights of it.
I watched it all. I
I
enjoyed
watched the
that.
second half, and it's very hard for me to comment because by the time the second half started, I think they were 1-0 down, Brighton. But it just seemed like there was this air of inevitability that they were going to go on to win that game.
No, the error never. Shabazz Lice.
Yeah, that was brilliant. Minte, is it Minte?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez, he looked all right, man. I mean, he was quick, he was everywhere.
Yeah, but in the first half, it must be said, City were by far the better team. Could have been 4, 5, 6 goals up, but Haaland couldn't hit a barn door apart from the one he put in. And then he just couldn't hit target with the rest. He was missing sitters and that, he was poor. And it did look like City might actually be back, and Brighton looked poor. And I've got to say, I don't think Brighton are a good side this season either. They've lost too many players, and they don't look good. Balaba's he's not fit. He's missed pre-season through injury and that. He's nowhere near fit, and he was miles off the pace. And then the second half was just like a completely different game. Brighton just came out and went at them, and instead of where City had been in charge in the first half, they just couldn't handle it. They just fell apart. They just folded, which is something you don't expect from a Pep team.
While it was still 1-1, there was a pretty ridiculous save made by James Trafford. I know no one here is a big fan of him, but geez, that one off the line that he reached back and flung was that
But when you
was
watch it
mad.
again, it was a good save, but the ball was moving very slowly. He had plenty of time. It wasn't like, I know the way the commentators made out, you'd think it had been smashed and was flying at 100 mile an hour. But it was like when you're playing with a balloon and you're having to wait for it to come down. It was so slow. It was like
I
I'd
just
have been
get
gutted if
very
he
excited
hadn't
about
saved
stuff
it.
like that.
I think you just
I
got
get very
excited because he
excited.
made a save, and it's not like him.
and that too.
Yeah.
And another player that I really like for Brighton, I find he's a workhorse, and he's always, every time I've really seen him play was doing well, is Matoma.
Yeah. I mean, I think most
I
people
like
like
him.
it.
Yeah.
I think he's one of those ones that you can't help but
He's
like.
very in and out for me. He's great on the ball, but he
10
doesn't
minutes.
do a lot off the ball for me.
Oh,
But
he
he's
was
a
in that
very
game.
skillful player. And I thought he might have got a higher move, to be honest with you.
Billy last day against City, he was chasing back he was in the box, making tackles, winning the ball back, breaking up play, and then he was taking it all the way. You know what I mean? He was in 2 seconds later, he was up the other half, in their half, attacking them. After just quick 1-2s and that to take it up the field. No, he was worked really hard, Bill. Honestly, and against City, he was probably the best player of
He
the
might
pitch.
have done against them. I'm only going about. I've watched him over the couple of seasons, but another player who does absolutely nothing for me is the lad for City on the left-hand wing. What's his name? The black lad.
Bob?
No. He's
Doku?
come on a substitution.
Doku.
Yeah.
Doku.
Yeah.
I think he's a terrible player.
Yeah.
He's exactly the same as Adama Traore for me. No finish whatsoever, and I think he's a very poor player.
Last season, we just had him. It was a case of just let him run. Don't just stand inside him. Let him run. Let him run, and then he'll just end up. Inevitably, he'll put it in the touch. You don't need to make a challenge on him. Just shadow him, force him into doing something, and he'll mess it up. So you don't have to do it. You don't have to do anything. And that's, you watch him, and it's the same every time. He's great at beating people with the ball at his feet, but then he just panics, and it's
no end product.
Yeah, no end product at all. It's a shame. It's such a waste. Because having all that skill, you'd want him to be able to do something with it, but he just can't. To be honest,
So it's
most
the
of their
double.
signings are not very good in that respect. They don't have end product. There's not much end product in that team anymore. But before, I mean, Haaland's not at his peak. Reinders, he's a pretty passer, but he's not being played in the right position to get the most out of him. And the rest of the team's a bit, Marmoush can be brilliant, but like Seamus was saying earlier, he's very hit and miss. And the rest of the team just don't have any real final third quality anymore.
Rodri's still missing too, isn't he?
No, he was back. That was his first start.
Oh, he's back? Yeah.
Yeah, it was his first start, and he was awful. He looked like he was just back, you know what I mean? So.
No, they just look calamitous at the back, and like I said, in the 45 or 55 minutes these days of the second half that I watched, they just look like they were going to lose that game. You could just see they look calamitous at the back, and you just knew it was coming.
But yeah,
I think Trish was right before what he said about them losing their invincibility status. You know what I mean? Where teams wouldn't go at them in case they got battered, and now teams are saying, these we can do these. We can match these, and I think they are.
Yeah.
And
the double pep effect.
Yeah, I think it was gone anyway. Last season, I think killed it because they were so poor at times last season. I think it gave people they stopped thinking these are unbeatable. We can, they start thinking we can beat these, and and I think it's just carried on this season, and they look even worse. So it's it's going to build, and if they don't,
something I forgot to
no, go on.
Something I forgot to bring up before, in regards to the transfers and things like that. Me, obviously, I always watch the keepers. It's probably my favourite part of the game, but. Them losing Edison to replace with Donnarumma, what do we think of that?
I mentioned that as my main reason.
Yeah.
To think City are not going to
Doesn't make him. It doesn't make him any better.
No.
No, it makes him worse.
Him and Trafford, no, they're both worse. For Pep's system, anyway.
Unless Pep wants to play something different from what we are expecting him to, and not play the pass the ball fighters in and around the box football. Unless he wants to play, get the ball into half, long ball, like fighters, balls and all that. Unless that's the idea, and then you can like at times like mix and match with the short passes with the keeper. Then if I'm in opposition, because I'll be like setting up my team to harass and foul Donnarumma or Trafford when they're taking the 3 5 passes.
Yeah,
what about your new keeper? What about your new keeper, Seamus? Have you seen much of him?
Lemon.
I've not seen much of him, but I've not seen much of him. But the life we have been in this life, we have been dealt with lemons. We should not use lemon.
Let's put it this way: he can't be worse than Onana.
No,
I never want to judge a player off YouTube.
If he's worse than Onana, then we have to sack the whole scouting department. I don't think it's possible to find a worse guy.
I never want to judge a player off just highlights. I've never seen the bloke play 90 minutes. None of that. But probably half an hour before we started the pod tonight, a friend of mine sent me a video.
Oh, the one where he
and it said and it said the European Onana, and that was some of the shit in there was bad. and I was like, holy crap, this is like watching Onana all over again. I'm not riding the lad off. He hasn't kicked the ball, but bloody hell, some of those were horrible.
You probably might have noticed a lot of those howlers were from his time at Club Brugge. Remember, he's a 22, 23-year-old guy.
Yeah.
So he had those at Club Brugge. I'm pretty sure as a goalkeeper in this modern days, the way they play football, everyone is bound to have some howlers. But a lot of those not so good moments are at his previous club, and then apparently he was pretty good for an Antwerp.
Yeah.
Hopefully those moments will be ironed out.
Oh, I hope.
But you will find horrible moments even for De Gea, and for me, he's like God for me, and even he had howlers. Moments you think he shouldn't be playing football at all. So it's part of the team. It's fingers crossed. Hopefully, this keeper side.
No, please let it be shit.
It doesn't.
yeah.
No, but Chris, if it doesn't work, then we have a very good guy out on loan playing in the championship.
He should have been the keeper. This is what I don't understand. You've got a great keeper out on loan. Bristol City, was it? Really good keeper. They send him out on loan instead of keep Bayern there and another as their first choice. But ridiculous. Anyway, we need to wrap this up because we're coming out to the end of time.
Right, okay.
That was good. That was fun. Thank you.
See you next time, and thank you for joining us. Anyone that's actually joined us, both of you.
Hopefully.
Right, see you next time, boys.
Yeah, I think there's more of you doing the pod than will listen to this.
Now, hopefully the lemons we're giving you guys in the form of this podcast is going to be turned into lemonade by our great field. So till then, enjoy your lemonade, guys. Goodbye.
Take
Goodbye,
care,
guys.
See you next time.
See you next time.
See ya.
See you next